For a lot of people pursuing writing as a profession, the biggest question is how to make money. My name's Lachlan Ross. I've just graduated from the University of Victoria's writing program and I work for Island Sports News as a sports journalist. Today I'm going to be talking about selling yourself as a freelance writer. So to help sell your work and more importantly your name in this new age of publishing where online is the new world, there's a couple of things that we're going to look at. It's not as simple as just working for your local newspaper or magazine anymore. It's about turning yourself into almost a brand name. From there, you can be contracted by bigger corporations that will pay you, or you can stay independent and get money through advertisements that come with your work. So I've broken this presentation up into three main segments. First, about writing. Secondly, building a portfolio. And finally, gaining a following audience. Now, let's look at some of the ways that you can get your name out there as a writer. Often when you're in an institution like the University of Victoria, we're fortunate enough to have access to writing workshops. In these, writers will submit work and receive in-depth feedback and revision suggestions before returning with a new draft. However, once graduation happens and you leave this atmosphere, many writers struggle to create the same level of work without the help of others. This is where it becomes important to build a network of peers. Take advantage of being in a program like this and having access to other writers. Through this you can simulate that environment and continue to produce work at a high level. This also potentially gains you supporters. When people are vested in your work, they're more likely to help you promote it to their friends. So now that you have some tools to help you write quality material, what do we do with it? Now that you've got some great pieces of writing, it's time to build a portfolio. Building a portfolio is the way writers present their credentials and experience to future employees or subscribers to their work. A portfolio is a collection of your best pieces. A strong way to build a portfolio is to get your favorite stories and start submitting them to publications. It's important to know that all writers have pieces turned down by publishers. That's not uncommon and it's not something you should allow to discourage you. In saying this, because some, if not most, of the pieces you first submit may be turned away, it's critical to have as many as possible being sent out at once. Once you've had some stories published, they become a great item for your portfolio. Another great way to gain valuable experience as a writer is to take on an internship. Whether it's paid or unpaid, this experience will be a huge part of your credentials. Now with the landscape of professional writing changing, one of the best tools to promote your work is social media. While having a portfolio is crucial, you also need to promote your work. With most published stories now being online rather than in print, the way writers share their work has changed too. So some of the ways that people do this are blogging, so you could have a blog and put some of your writing up there. Whether it's been published or not, it's still getting it out to your audience and building up your name as a brand. The more followers you have, the more likely you are to be able to market yourself to bigger companies and get paid. On the flip side of that, you can stay independent and use your followers as a market for advertisers to pay you for space on the work that you've published. So some of the ways to do this, as well as promoting a blog, is to use Twitter. So tweet out different things to gain a following, gain popularity, tweet out your work. Likewise, Facebook is another great option. Now that everything's online, you can simply share the link or the URL through Facebook and Twitter and make sure as many people as possible are reading your work. Through this, you can get other people to share your work once you've shared it to them, and your following gets bigger and bigger. Now that you know some of the options available, you can begin getting your name and stories out there and work towards making a living off your writing. Today I discussed some of the ways to create quality writing and get it out to an audience. This included the About Writing segment, building a portfolio, and gaining a following audience. Thank you for listening to my presentation. If writing is your chosen career path or even just a hobby, then hopefully this presentation will help gain the publicity your work deserves.